And we're back. Welcome back to the Retirement Decoded podcast with Scott Tucker. I'm your host, Scott Tucker. My trusty co-host today on the podcast is Associate Advisor Andre Hootie. Say hello, Andre Hootie.
Hello, Andre Hootie.
Andre Hootie, today on the podcast, Linda asks, Andre, how do we control taxes when RMDs, required minimum distributions, and Social Security start? So Linda wants to know, she has these two things she's concerned about. Required minimum distributions, they start on traditional IRAs, really.
Yeah.
They don't affect, as you know, Andre, RMDs, required minimum distributions, do not affect 401ks. They affect the IRAs, the traditional IRA.
Right, as long as you're still working.
As long as you're still working, right? And so let's clean that up. So yeah, right. So as long as you're still working, the traditional 401k does not have required minimum distributions. If you stop working, then the traditional 401k requires required minimum distributions, or RMDs.
Yep.
Or some people jumble it up and they call them MRDs. Mm-hmm. We know what you mean. You can just call them MRDs if you want. I don't care. Yep. We're not going to tell anybody.
Or my favorite is, when they make you take the money? That's the best description I get. I'm like, I know exactly what you mean.
Oh, you mean MRDs? So then but traditional IRAs, once you reach RMD age, required minimum distribution age, it doesn't matter if you're still working or not, you have to take the required minimum distributions from a traditional IRA. Mm-hmm. And then, Andre, as you know, Roth accounts don't have required minimum distributions.
Yeah.
Why is it, Andre, that Roth accounts don't have required minimum distributions?
Because the government's already got their tax money from you.
Yeah, so
there's only one reason they have the required minimum distributions on the IRAs to begin with.
Wait, Andre, I was told, somebody from the IRS told me that the reason that they want our clients to take required minimum distributions is to make sure that our clients enjoy their individual retirement accounts.
Oh, yeah.
Is that why? Or is it to maximize revenue to the Treasury?
Oh, it's to maximize, and they do it very sneakily. They'll do it over your whole life. They won't even make you take out a lot in the beginning. You're going to take out little tiny amounts. Well,
that's kind of what Linda's getting into. So now we have a thing. I believe it was the Secure Act. Well, the Secure Act moved the required minimum distribution age from 70 and a half to 72. Mm-hmm. Then Secure Act 2.0 made it even worse, more confusing. Yep. 73, 74, 75, depending on your year of birth. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're one of the folks who had your required minimum distribution age moved from 70 and a half to 75. Is that more beneficial to the client?
No, it's not.
Is it because, or wait?
On the surface level, they make it look like
it. Sounds like it, right?
It's like, hey, you get 2 more years of growth on your money. That's great.
It's like in Chicago, we have some bars that have a 2 a.m. license, a 4 a.m. license, and some of them have a 5 a.m. license on weekends.
Yeah.
Andre, are you doing anybody a favor? You let them stay at the bar instead of saying go home at 2 a.m., they have to go home at 5 a.m.?
No. But the bar loves it.
And the hangover is going to be tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Linda, when you were, say that they offered you or they told you that your requirement distribution age was going to be 70 and a half. Oh, wait, Linda, we did you a couple of favors. Now it's 75. All they're letting you do is grow if you could picture a Slinky, it would make too much noise. I think, I don't have one in the podcast studio. But if you have a Slinky, if you're watching us on YouTube at tuckeryoutube.com, you can see my imaginary Slinky here. So as we take a Slinky, say from the desk, and we pull it towards the sky, you are growing a tax-deferred account larger and larger. So in your IRA or traditional 401k, some of that money already belongs to the IRS. You just don't know it yet, or you may not know it yet, or may not have realized how much of it belongs to the IRS. As we grow that Slinky larger, and we let you keep growing that, the IRS lets you keep growing that tax-deferred money larger and larger to age 75 or 73, 74, whatever your year of birth is. They're really not doing you a favor. The folks in Congress really haven't done you a favor. They're allowing you to create, it's kind of like if you had a tumor. If you had a tumor and you weighed 150 pounds, would you expect the doctor to say, that's okay, wait 5 years, come back when you're 300 pounds?
That's exactly what they tell you, isn't it?
Yeah, so you go, wait, if I go from 150 pounds to 300 pounds, the doc be like, yeah, isn't it be great? It'd be twice as large. And the tumor is going to go from 5 pounds to 10 pounds or worse, right? Mm. So the you could picture the unpaid or unsatisfied federal income taxes in your IRAs, 401ks, 403b, deferred comp, TSP, SEP, Simple KEO. These are all that tax you owe to the IRS is sort of like a little tumor, and we want to snip that thing out of there. We don't want to wait 5 years to do that, and we don't want to do it all at once. But we don't want to, treat it like it's a pet and keep it around.
Yeah.
So that's one way to think about that. So Linda said, Andre, how do we control taxes when required minimum distributions and Social Security start? Well, one way, Andre, would be not to wait until both required minimum distributions and Social Security start.
Yeah, I think when they both start, that's when you're going to be, there's still planning you can do, but you're going to end up leaving money on the table if you wait till then. Because if you started it before your Social Security, before RMDs, you could save a lot more in tax money there. It's just, it works much better that way. But you know what? It's never too late to start, even if we've waited a little too much.
Andre, compliance likes it when you say you could potentially save money.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, you can't guarantee anything.
But as a rule of thumb, you're right, Andre. As a rule of thumb, what we don't want to do is to nurse one of these tax deferred traditional retirement accounts and get it bigger and bigger and bigger. So we have great big required minimum distributions at age 72 to 75, depending on when you were born. What we typically ought to do, and it's a little, we have to get on our phone calendar at tuckerretirement.com. We'll run your numbers. We could even do a Zoom and show you how this all would work. But typically it's better to tackle this earlier than later. So what we'd like to do, here's something we can do for most folks. Probably 90% of the folks that we talk to, Andre, they don't, if they or their spouse do not have a very large monthly pension. So a large monthly pension, we might say, gets in the territory maybe $5,000 a month. That's kind of what I think about being a large amount. And I know there's folks that have larger than that. But the only thing that we can't recharacterize to where it's no longer federally taxable is a monthly pension. If you've already accepted a monthly pension, that's going to be federally taxable every month for the rest of your life. So that's why if you're ever offered a lump sum pension, or somebody you know is offered a lump sum pension, we ought to talk about it. Get on our phone calendar at tuckerretirement.com and we'll see how the offer looks. Andre, most of the time, as you know, the offers on these lump sum pensions are generous or fair. They're very rarely unfair, once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it, but yeah, they're rare.
Pretty rare. So say there's a local gas utility in the city of Chicago, and they have, the guys, Andre, they go out when it's 4 degrees or when it's 104 degrees.
They never say no. They're out there working.
And they ride those gas trucks, the truck that services the natural gas lines. Yeah. And they go out there and they dig a hole in the ground and all this sort of thing. When they get to be about 55 to 59, somewhere in there, the gas utility wants to get rid of them. Because they want them to enjoy their retirement. But what they do is they also want to get them off their rolls for the pension obligation.
Yeah.
So they'll say, okay, we'll give you, let's say they would give them, I don't know, they might offer them like $7,000 a month, or you can take a lump sum pension of $900,000. Andre, what you don't do, as you know, you don't take the $900,000 to your checking account.
No, please,
because that would be federally taxable, and in some states it would be state taxable. In Illinois, we don't tax retirement accounts. But so what folks might do, and not specific advice, your mileage may vary, get on our phone calendar at tuckerretirement.com. What folks might do is consider taking maybe that $900,000 lump sum, take it directly to maybe a Schwab or Fidelity or Vanguard IRA. Then maybe over the next handful of years, we might do Roth conversions. Illinois residents, as you know, Andre, don't pay any state income tax on Roth conversions. Mm-hmm. Now, if you live north of the Cheddar Curtain and you cheer for the wrong football team, the state of Wisconsin, as one example, will tax Roth conversions as high as 7.65%. However, that doesn't mean that you still couldn't potentially win on a Roth conversion as a Wisconsin resident, because you got to think about the Trump tax cuts and how the Trump tax cuts could be repealed as soon as 2029.
Yeah, and it's federally, at least speaking from a federal standpoint, not from a state standpoint, but federally, we are at some of the lowest rates we've ever had, and the national debt keeps going up. So there's only there's two of the major numbers for that equation right there. Debt keeps going up. Taxes are pretty low. How do we fund the government? Taxes.
Yeah. And then last I looked on the debt clock, federal government's about $38 trillion in federal debt. It might be 39 trillion. Did I blink?
Might be 40 at this point.
Or, next week. We are borrowing $1 trillion. And we have clients that come to us. We're in Chicago, but half our clients are Republican, half our clients are Democrat, or something like that. I know that Republicans aren't Republicans anymore and Democrats aren't Democrats anymore. It's all kind of mushy. But half our clients vote with their right hand, half our clients vote with their left hand. That might be a way to say it. Even if they don't like the parties, they bite their lip and they take their chances. And so where was I going with that, Andre?
Taxes,
Taxes.
2029.
Oh yeah. So what could happen? There could be a blue wave in 2028. He catches me when I fall. There could be a blue wave in 2028, and as soon as January of 2029, we could have the Trump tax cuts repealed. So we could have the tax cuts from the Trump administration. We could have them just totally repealed, back to the way they were under the Obama administration. Again, not being political, but back in 2017, the tax rates were a lot higher than they are now. And there's a 12% federal bracket that could jump to a 15% bracket. That's what was going to happen this year, January 1st of 2026. That's what was going to happen before last July. President Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Again, if you don't like the name, my mom voted for Bernie. She drives a hybrid. She doesn't like the name One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Mom, that's what it's called. And you know what she really doesn't like, Andre?
What?
Trump accounts. She really does not.
Why am I not surprised?
She does not like the name Trump accounts. And so, but it doesn't matter if you vote with the left hand or your right hand. What's important is that we seek to minimize the lifetime income taxes for you and your family, especially, Andre, we help seasoned citizens all across the fruited plain, you see.
We do.
And so we need to make sure they're taken care of. And I don't, IRS be darned. And so there's all that.
They paid their fair share. It's at some point.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And so the Linda asked, how do we control taxes when required minimum distributions and Social Security start? And so one thing is you don't hang out in the traditional land waiting for the required minimum distributions to start. Now, Andre, as you know, as you get into retirement and you need income to pay the bills, or you need to take the money. Remember, Andre, when they said you got to take the money?
Mm-hmm. So
whichever situation you find yourself in, taking money or being forced to take money from your traditional IRA or 401k, 403b, TSP, SUP, Simple KEO, EIEIO, deferred comp, that taxable income coming out can cause up to 85% of your Social Security retirement federally taxable in retirement. And here you are, little old lady didn't hurt nobody. Mr. Hoodles, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think to Linda's point, it's how do you control taxes when RMDs and Social Security start? Well, you don't start to do that when it happens. You do it well ahead of time, because as you see, it's the rules aren't really in your favor, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to be taken advantage of when it comes to from a tax standpoint. The IRS will just continue to take money from you, and that's. As Scott mentioned, you've been paying your whole life. There's a way to get out of this if you plan ahead. But if you don't want to, I don't know, Linda. I think for you, it sounds like you're really concerned about this. So I think it's worth you getting on the phone with us and we can talk about this a little bit more because it's there's a lot that goes into this. It's not just kind of two numbers to look at. There's a lot that goes into this. Or
Linda, have you considered just not doing anything about it? Just leave it how it is, see how it turns out. What do you think, Andre?
That's also an option. It's it depends on your priorities. If you want to pay more to the government, I can't stop you.
Yeah, Andre, I can't care about it more than Linda does.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Andre, in Illinois, we don't tax retirement income, and so we have workshops, and we teach them all around the Northwest Chicagoland area. And we have these workshops, and we explain to people how if they're not paying attention, if they're not doing tax planning for retirement, which is different than tax planning while you're working, that they could end up paying federal income tax and up to 85% of their Social Security. And what do they say, Andre?
And they say, hey, well, somebody's got to fund the government.
No. That is one thing they say.
I hear that one.
But Andre, they also say, now, Andre, you got to be careful. You got to do your tax planning for retirement, or you could end up paying federal income tax on up to 85% of your Social Security. And they'll say, but Scott, Illinois doesn't tax Social Security. I said, I didn't say Illinois. I said federal income tax on your Social Security retirement.
Yep. Yeah. That's, we get that one often.
It's painful.
It's
painful.
It is. And there's so much misinformation out there. I think, and and the rules aren't easy. If you get out the IRS rule book or Social Security's rule book and all the the frequently asked questions that they have on their websites, none of that stuff is easy to understand. Like even if you try to go do this yourself, it's very difficult. And then they're like, oh, well, go look at this publication under section 14.1.5.2. Nobody's going to.
You're not going to go pull up. Well, you probably would. You would probably.
Well, I mean,
you would probably go pull up all the publications. I think you probably have them on you have them on your bookshelf, don't you?
Guilty as charged. I mean, I think as professionals we have to do that, but I think as a normal person,
still better to make fun of you though.
I am the type to have those bookmarked. Yeah.
Andre's the kind of guy that sleeps with a slide rule, or whatever that means. Isn't that a slide rule? Now I'm gonna alienate our our more experienced listeners, because slide rule was right before my time. I'm 53 this year. And so I would say probably if you're 73, you could school me on what a slide rule is and how it works. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up in the 80s in Algebra 1 with, was it Mr. Boyd? DeWitt High School? It was Mr. Boyd. I hope I'm not getting his name wrong. He helped me with my car one time. I had a crappy car in high school. He helped me jump it or something. But in Algebra 1 or whatever, DeWitt High School, home of the DeWittians, I believe it was the HP 10B or something like that, or some kind of scientific or algebra calculator. We couldn't use a calculator. I could use a calculator when I was in college. That's what it was.
Oh, and I know what you're talking about. They're like the
HP 10B is a financial calculator. There's another one that I had, Texas Instruments something. Yeah. There's a Texas Instruments one that I had in algebra in college.
And it's got like all the functions you can imagine.
It's insane. It's like, back in the 90s, it was like $100 some in the 90s. Yeah, and so I don't have my inflation calculator in front of me. What would that be today? Like $500?
Probably more.
I don't know.
Maybe about 500. Now, surprisingly, they're still about $150. Those calculators.
Oh wow! Well, are they made in China?
Yeah. Everything's from there nowadays.
Probably everything. Probably the Texas Instruments chips are probably made in Taiwan. Yeah. And then they're probably on the mainland is probably where they assemble those calculators.
It's going to get even more expensive.
Yeah. Well, see, that's, Andre, you don't need to learn algebra anymore. You just ask ChatGPT what the answer is.
Yeah. You don't even need to know a calculator.
Andre, would you build a bridge instead of having a structural engineer or whatnot? You just have a ChatGPT.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. With my finances, I wouldn't trust AI, or I'd talk with a professional.
I wasn't a professional. That is something. We had a gentleman recently. Oh yeah, he's now a client of ours, and he came to the office to see us in Chicago, or on the northwest side of Chicago. Park Ridge is across the street. And he started off the meeting. He said, "Why does anybody buy bonds?" And then wasn't that the same person that? Half hour later, we asked him if he had a will, or if he and his wife had. She wasn't at the first meeting, and they're great people, and they're actually very bright. These descriptions don't make him sound real bright. That first meeting was a little rough, but they are. Once he stopped being silly. So why does anybody buy bonds? Which bonds do have risk. So we did make sure he understood that, which I think he already knew. But then we said something about, do you have a will or trust or whatever? And didn't he say that he heard that you could create a trust on ChatGPT? Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Yeah, and a will.
Well, a will.
Well, I mean, you can create anything on ChatGPT. It's whether is it going to be good?
Is it possible to create a will, a trust? Ooh boy, it could be called a trust.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I can write on my own trust. I promise you it won't stand up at court.
I've experimented with ChatGPT and asked it things and got the wrong answers back.
Oh yeah,
because what's funny, how they say with Google's free until you realize that you're the product. Facebook is free until you realize that you're the product, because it's Facebook especially. They're using that for mailing lists and all that, and for ads and all these things. So is Google. Google's serving up ads based upon your search results and who you are and where you are and these things. But ChatGPT is free. Now I have the $20 a month version because I'm important, right? Because I'm a high roller. I have $20 a month left over, after I pay the bills. So ChatGPT is free to a point, right? Then if you get too advanced, they make you pay $20 a month. But ChatGPT is free until you realize that you are training the trainer. Like
yeah,
it's like going to the gym and paying the trainer, and then you're making him work out.
Well, it's funny you say that because isn't that like every coding job out there for the last 10 years? I don't know how long they've been training these models, but all these like college kids that went into computer science and learned to code, they coded themselves out of a job. They made all this
Oh
AI,
yeah,
and
it's
then
like it's like training your replacement.
yeah, and then it's like, but and then you don't really have another job.
You know what, Andre? Robots don't go on strike.
That's true.
That's why I've been well until they take over and they kill us all.
Well, but they'll work 24/7 for you. Imagine the productivity
until they kill you in your sleep.
Well, then
Potentially.
we won't have any problems after that, right? So
Potentially, your mileage may vary. Well, you wasted another good 20 minutes listening to the ramblings of a short, bald man, namely yours truly, Scott Tucker. Get on our phone calendar, 15 minutes for free in the coming week over the telephone with one of our financial planners, myself, Andre Hootie, Max Wren, financial planners all. Do that at tuckerretirement.com, please, and thank you. And we'll spend 15 minutes for free with you over the telephone in the coming week. Andre, we'll get their questions answered.
And their answers questioned.
At tuckerretirement.com. We'll talk to you in the next episode.